Fantastic. Perfect.
Fantastic. So we'll get going. We could probably do this in maybe 20 minutes, at the most 30, and then we can have chats about it. And once again, maybe just a reminder, if you have a mute button on your phone, you might want to select it just so we don't hear your background noise. And that'll make it clearer for everybody else. And then we'll get going. So first of all, Scott, thank you so much for having us with you today. And I'll introduce myself and explain a little bit about who we are. First, so you understand who's chatting over your airwaves. I'm Andy. We started actually just going way back in the late 90s. We started building print on demand. So we've been in the space of printing on demand since 1999. We were the original company to build that. And then over the years, we've grown and we've worked really most specifically in the real estate niche, whether it's agents or investors. And during that course of time, we've really figured out the best way to give a tool set to people, to give them all the tools that they would need to market those sellers that they're interested in buying from. And our company is called GoBig Printing. So we are really good at what we do in the printing world. We print about 5 million pieces per month. We do about 500 orders per day. The company Deluxe just acquired us in November, so that just means a lot of resources available. We're not a fly-by-night. We've been in business 20-some years. And I tell you that just so I can establish some validation to know that your job is going to get done. After this, I encourage you to review and Google search, but we've almost have a perfect 5-star review across the board. So we're good at printing. I can qualify that. We work with a lot of people, a lot of coaching companies that have trusted their students and assets with us. We don't do data. So what we did was we went out and found the very best data supplier on the planet. And I mean that very specifically. And so when we have 150,000 active users on our site, when we switch over to a new system or service, it is paramount that it's easy, it's perfect, because now we're representing another company inside of our company, and obviously we're only as good as the lesser of the two, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce you to Matt. He is the data guru behind all data, and I'm going to let him talk about what you're going to see here with the data and how we retrieve it and how we're different than other people. What I'm also going to give you the high-level perspective of, all this is built into one system. You're not going someplace else to get it. You're all doing it within the GoBig system. And with that, Matt, you have the floor. This is Matt Lamont, everybody, and take it away, Matt.
Hey guys, the data guru, I like that.
That's good. Yeah, the king of data.
Yeah. So I'm just going to run past this real quick. This system is being used currently by multi-billion-dollar companies. I mean, that's what we built it for originally, for Fidelity and Old Republic and some First American branches. We've repurposed it for GoBig Printing and integrated it into their website and added features onto it to make it accessible for real estate investors. So pretty much everything that was available to those title companies are available to you. We just beefed it up a little bit because they have compliance things that they have to follow that real estate investors don't have to follow. Meaning that we've added things like divorce and affidavit of death, mortgage defaults, and different distress situations into here that you can search for. We made this pretty easy. Andy actually came up with this idea and we added it in. This is it's called a 1, 2, 3 panel. So you have 2 options. This is always what's going to pop up first. The 1, 2, 3 panel is just a 3-step process. If you're not used to searching for data, or you're not, you don't want anything outside of this box, then this is the place for you to go. So I'm going to give you an example. Say I wanted to search the state of California, the county of Orange, and I was looking in Anaheim, and I wanted to pull, let's see, let me do a good one. Let's see all the out-of-state owners. So these are going to be absentee owned, and the owner's mailing address is out of state. So they live out of the state. You see the other things in here, I believe in Andy's, and I'm showing you from a developer's vertical, by the way, just so I don't have a credit card portal here. But in Andy's vertical, you'll see things like fix and flip high equity, and I'll go into that in a second. On your vertical, it's going to say get count instead of search, and then it's going to give you a total price for the list. And then you enter in your card, and then it's going to produce this list right here. So the only missing step that you didn't see there was just a credit card portal popping up, right? This list, once you have it, once you've purchased it, it's automatically updated without you having to do anything. So you don't have to worry about the list going old. You don't have to pull the same list twice. The list is automatically updated every single day with the new owners and the new information from the assessor file, if that makes sense. Once you have this list, you can export it. And Andy, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, you know what? I know it's on there. Sorry guys, I work with a few verticals on here. You hit export, and this export button is going to send it over to GoBig Printing. And it's really as simple as that. It's 1, 2, 3, and then you're done. If you want to use a more advanced feature, this is a different way of doing it. So say you don't like the things that I've put on here, and I'll go over them right now. So fix and flip high equity, that is going to be a house that's built prior to 1980, and it's got at least 50% equity in that home, right? We're choosing a house built before 1980 because the chances of that home having maintenance deference is probably pretty high. High equity fix and flip and absentee owned is the same thing. So they have at least 50% equity. It's built prior to 1980, and it's non-owner occupied, right? It's probably a rental property. Fix and flip out-of-state owner, that's going to be the same thing. So it was built prior to 1980, but the owner is out-of-state and it's absentee owned. So basically, if you see fix and flip on something, that means it's an older house.
Just saw your face.
And then it's combined with something else.
What?
So remember too, if you only want to purchase a certain amount of records, you don't want to pull up every single thing in the area. You want to hit limit record to whatever it is that you want to limit to. Right?
Hang on,
and then
Matt,
you
1
always
second.
want to check mark this box right here. This means to press omit records that are already saved. So if you already have a saved list, you don't want to be pulling and paying for the same list that you already have. So make sure you suppress records in case you have any overlap.
Hang on, Matt, 1 second. Hey guys, if you have a mute button, go ahead and click that now so we don't hear your background noise. We hear some clicking going on. So just take a look at your mute button and go ahead and click that if you can. There we go. Thank you. So, so what Matt was saying is just to revamp what he said. This is very valuable. So what happens is you might do a search of something and find there's 15,000, but you're like, I don't want 15,000. You just want 500. So you can limit your records to 500. And what's really cool is the next time you go and order it, those records are suppressed from that first order. So you're not reordering that list. It's already in the GoBig library, and you're not spending money to repurchase those first 500. So there you go, Matt.
Correct. Yeah. So suppressing records, you should always do that to make sure you don't purchase the same thing twice. Right. You can also do radius search or a boundary search. So example of a radius search. I'm typing in the address here. We have a license with Google. So Google will auto-fill in the address so you don't have to type in the whole thing. So remember to click on the little button here to make sure you have it on the spot, and then just click next. And then once again, you just choose whatever it is that you want and then search away. Then you have your list. It's really that simple. It's just a 1, 2, 3. And see how it's going to give you the price? So divorce records are priced at 50 cents per record, right? So it's going to give me my total right here, and I can just hit pay now. If I only want a certain amount, I don't want 20 properties, then maybe I'll hit limit records to whatever it is I do want. Now, we've added in something. Andy doesn't even know about this. I'm ambushing him, but it's a good thing. So he'll be happy.
Nice. Thank you.
This is free right now. I don't even think we're ever going to charge for it, but we might. If everybody does net sheets, I mean, I would hope you do, to calculate how much money you're going to make off of the deal, whether you're purchasing or selling a home or refinancing one. We take our data and we put it into the net sheet.
I'm going to just sit here and do the thing. How long is it?
We got an argument happening. So our data, our mortgage data and our assessor data and all of our data is put into our net sheet. So you have a net sheet built into GoBig Printing's program where you don't even have to fill out because it automatically fills all the stuff for you. So let me give you an example.
If you want, just back into the turnaround.
So I'm sure if you ever filled out a net sheet, it's been a pain in the butt. All the fields are filled out already for you. You just had to add in the repairs and anything else that's not filled manually. Even the mortgage data is filled in. Now this is free. You don't need to pay for this. You can go on GoBig site and just use this to your heart's content. That's just a value add. But let me go back to searching for distressed properties, and this is going to be in a more advanced way. So if you don't want to use the 1, 2, 3 search, you're looking for something extremely specific, and you're an expert at this, you're going to go into, you know, radius, boundary, or area search, and that's what I'm going to do right now is go to an area search. And you're going to have a number of fields here. You can look for anything. I mean, if you want to find graveyards and that's what you want to invest in, it's in here. If you want to invest in apartment buildings, dairy farms, agricultural, whatever, there's over 72 different property types that you can search across the country for, and this is nationwide. I'm just going to go for single family homes. And then you can manually enter any of these fields from the year built, bedrooms, bathrooms. These are all filters. So you can put, let's say, between 2 to 4 bedrooms, and I want between 1 to 2 baths. And then I want the house to be tax delinquent and the year of tax delinquency being between 2013 and 2015. I'm just making stuff up here. I'm not going to go over all these fields, but suffice to say that there is a ton of stuff in here. There's over 100 different fields you can fill out. If you even, when you click on other available fields, I can even go even crazier. I can say I want, you know, bedrooms between 2 to 4 bedrooms, 1 to 2 baths, and it has to have a sauna and a barn, and it needs to have fire sprinklers. Whatever it is that you want is in here. So just search through and check it out if you have time to do something like that. Like I said, this is advanced searching. If you got time to goof around, you know, I invite you to explore it and check it out and see the kind of cool stuff that you can do with this data. The data, this isn't just like raw data that you have to search to an Excel sheet. We have every single type of filter you can possibly imagine in here. And over here on the very, very right, you have your different lead types. So this is going to be an affidavit of death,
Put it up in my hair,
bankruptcy, divorce, eviction, list pendants. So remember on the East Coast, it's list pendants, not notice of default. And then we
Yeah, but
have
I'm not
probate
seeing
and so the difference between affidavit of death and a probate, not every probate's going to be a death and not every death's going to be a probate, FYI. So you can have a probate happen because somebody's gone, you know, insane, and now they're giving something over to a power of attorney. An affidavit of death could happen, but that doesn't mean like everybody on the property is dead. You file an affidavit of death on your wife or your husband. Maybe some of you probably do want to file an affidavit of death on your wife or husband. But yeah, an affidavit of death happens anytime somebody dies that's a homeowner, and not necessarily both of them are dead. So that's about the nitty gritty. I don't want to go down too far into the rabbit hole. I just want to give you guys the general layout so you guys can use it. Do you have anything else you want me to go over, Andy?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Can you hear me, Matt?
Yep.
I would say, what most people do, and we've just seen this, people come in and they click the 1, 2, 3 search and they find what they want. Then you have the people that come in here and they do more of a specific search. And then
like what I was doing?
Yeah, that was perfect. So what happens is then this is the power of this is more than just that. So you found a bunch of data based on the queries that you're looking for. You've saved the query. You can you can go back to that query again in the future, and it will have been updating behind the scenes. So when you bring that query back up again, it's already been updating the records along the way. The other part that's really, really bigger than all this is what do you do with that data afterwards? Obviously, you're going to use it for direct mail or something else. But what you can do is come back into the system, find that property. So maybe go into a list that's already been purchased and show the reports that you can run on that property, right? So,
cool. Yeah, I didn't know if you had time for me to show them that.
I think because it's like we look at a lot of different things and there's so much more to data, right? And then it's what do you do with the data afterwards? So let's find some properties. And then let's look at some details of the property and then look at the reports that you can run with that property.
Sure.
It's really a good deal. And I mean, just a few minutes, but that's the power of, using data and the power of the data and using it the right way. So once you've ordered your list, now we expose all kinds of aspects about that list, which is what Matt's going to show you now.
Right. So from here, you can generate a detailed property profile of a record. So let's say you get somebody calling in from your mailer and they want to sell their house to you, right? You probably want to take a detailed view of the report. This is especially important for bird dogs, wholesalers, whatever you want to call it. I know when I used to go through a lot of wholesalers' emails, and I used to get like 50 of them at a time from title reps, and it was a headache, like trying to find a good property because there's a lot of wholesalers out there who don't run their comps right, and they give you just an email with some comps that you can't figure out how they came up with that number, and it's just incomplete. If you hand it over, like let's say you found a property, this person signs a contract with you, a purchase and sale agreement, and then you're trying to give that off to an investor, that investor is going to pick it up a lot quicker if you pull the property profile with it that's complete with comps and has all the details on the property, and you send that out as an attachment. You won't have any problem finding a cash buyer for it. I can guarantee you that, because all your numbers are going to match up. So I'm going to give you an example right here. So this is what's called a property profile. This is literally all the information on the property, including the comparables. Every time they refinance, the chain of title, the comps, where the comps are. Like if you handed over a file like this, I'd be impressed. Like if I was a cash buyer, I'd be like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Also, if you want to go through and just check out while they're talking to you and take a look at what the property looks like, maybe this house is too nice to be an investment property, right? That, and you can also check the dynamic stats. How fast is this house going to sell? I don't know, because I don't know if the turnover rate in this neighborhood is very good. So what I mean by turnover rate is how many homes are in this neighborhood, and over the last 12 months, how many of those homes have sold? Well, I got 2,959 homes in this neighborhood. There's only been 132 sales. It's a 4% turnover rate. That's not actually that good. So maybe I don't even want to buy this house because I'm not going to be able to flip this house very quick because homes aren't selling in that area, right? And that brings me to another trick, actually. If I got time here, Andy, I haven't shown you this before.
Sure.
So if you're looking for something like absentee own or whatever, if you really want to get a good response rate and you're super keen on that, go into statistics, do an area search. I'm looking in the city of Anaheim. We're talking about turnover rate. So if there's not a lot of homes selling in an area, you're going to have a difficult time all the way around, from response rate to flipping the house. I'm going to go with a carrier route here. So generally, real estate coaches will tell you, they tell this to real estate agents, look for a turnover rate of over 6%. And they're right. I mean, there's a turnover rate over 6%, homes are selling in that area at a pretty good rate. Anything below 6% is having challenges. I go between 6 to 10% because I want to avoid new property development, right? I mean, there's no money in that. So now I'm going to search this for carrier routes in the whole city of Anaheim, the same city I was looking, and look for a high turnover rate. That's good that you're recording this because this is complicated. But this is how we find our houses. All right, so I got 6 different carrier routes. This one right here has the most units, 221 units, right? It's got a 7% turnover rate, so it's super good. The average price of the home is $600,000. So I'm going to go for that one. Now it's going to take me back to that filter again. So if I want, on top of that, I can add in, and then everybody in that carrier route that filed for divorce, boom. Or I can add in, I want all these homes in that carrier route with a high turnover rate, that's a non-owner occupied, right? Or whatever it is that you want. And I want them also to be an out-of-state owner. Yes. And now I search. I might have added in way too many filters, but all right, 2 people. But you get it. You can add as many filters as you want. So you can, if you really want to do your homework, this thing is super powerful. I mean, there's so many features on it. That's why I don't want to dump too many on you, because it could be overwhelming. I have made some pre-made lists for you guys on the 1, 2, 3 panel. But if you have time and you can deep dive into this, and you can listen to this recording too to figure out the stuff that I did, you can really filter down the data to exactly what it is that you want, and your response rate's going to go through the roof. The postcard's important, but the data is really important, because if you drop a bunch of bombs on a field, you're not going to be doing any damage. You need to be hitting real targets. You can have the best postcard in the world, but if you're not refining it down to the fine science on the data and hitting the right places, then that's just going to go into the trash.
That was awesome, Matt. That was very insightful. You know what we can do? I have let me unmute Scott here. I'm going to grab you here. Hold on a second. Where are you? Hey Scott, can you hear me? Okay.
Yep, I got you.
Oh yeah. So we can do a couple things. We can answer. There's a bunch of chat questions that we can answer. We can move into GoBig and see a little bit of the direct mail center. Maybe maybe your call here. It's your time. We're wide open. Couple options. We can do a couple questions and move, or we can just skip it, go into GoBig, and then just set up another another opportunity to dive into the specifics of data and direct mail and make this more of just an overview. What would you like to do?
If it's okay with you, I'd rather answer their questions now while we're still on this, and then we'll go into the direct mail because I'm sure we'll have new questions then.
Fantastic. So that's okay. So we're down with it. Everybody's here in it to win it. Got to go big, right? So can you see these? You can't see the chats here, can you? Is that on?
I cannot.
So I'm going to read them to you, and then we can go through this. So will the fix and flip high equity, absentee owned, and out-of-state owner duplicate records if you pull them at the same time?
No, those are all combined filters. So
Perfect.
if I say the house has to be built prior to 1980 and it has to be non-owner occupied, and the address has to be for the owner has to be out of state. It has to be different than the subject property, and it has to be out of state. So those are all combined filters together. If it doesn't meet all that criteria, then it's filtered out. If that makes sense.
I think
Yes.
that's good. And what I'm gonna do is we'll run through these, and then if you want more details, we can dive into them more. Another question. Oh, by the way, you didn't mention, you showed like lead types and probate affidavit of death and foreclosure. Those things are 50 cents each, but everything else is either 2 cents or 7 cents. So most likely when you're buying those distressed types of leads, NODs and probates, et cetera, you're not buying as many, and they're harder to get. That's why there are 50 cents. But the other range is 2 cents or 7 cents based on whether you're buying mortgage data or tax assessor.
Yeah, we break it down into assessor data, and that's going to be everything that comes on a tax file: property characteristics, the owner's first and last name, the address of the property, where the owner's located, and all that stuff is all included just for 2 cents a record. If you go into mortgage information, that's all loan information, including whether or not it's a mortgage default. I think that's 8 cents, right?
7 or 2?
7 cents. 7 cents, yeah. And then the divorces and any kind of court data is 50 cents.
Perfect.
Which is a good deal that Andy worked out. Because, I mean, if you go to, like, our competitor companies, like Black Knight sells divorce data for $5 each. If you go to ListSource, it's like 16 cents for mortgage data. So we worked out something pretty good with GoBig. So you guys get a really good price for data here.
Good deal. Let's see. Let's go down this. Does the mortgage data indicate the mortgage type? Example, forward, reverse mortgage, equity line.
What is that?
Get
Sorry?
that one. Does the mortgage data indicate the mortgage type? Example, reverse mortgage, equity line, etc. You could just probably
you can filter it for that as well. So if you go into mortgage info, which I should have done, sorry about that. AVM is an automated value model. That is data that we've collected, mashed together to figure out what the value of the home is. But yeah, you can enter in HELOCs, the loan to value ratio, that's going to be your equity, what type of loan it is, construction, conventional, FHA, VA, if it's a HELOC or not. And like I said, when you go into other available fields, you're just going to have a slew of other stuff that's probably not going to be important to you. Is usually more important to a loan officer.
That's fantastic. Okay, there's a few more here. We'll just see if we can hit a couple more and then we'll get out of here. Subscription fee to use the site? No, it's pay on demand. So you log in, you find 1,000, you want 400, that's how much you're paying for. There's no subscription. It's the same with our direct mail. You want 1,000, you pay for 1,000. That's it. There's no subscription. Do you do multiple lists, or do you have own filters such as the probate and death certificate? You can somehow filter out duplicates. Let's see if I get this thing. Let's see. I'm not quite understanding. If you do multiple lists or do your own filters, such as probate and death certificate, can you somehow filter out duplicates? I think that was kind of answered the first one, wasn't it?
You can always filter out duplicates just by clicking that box, suppress omit records. And it's also when you're doing manual searches, not the 1, 2, 3 panel, there's a box right here that says the same thing, suppress omit records already saved.
There you go. That's a good one. Average sale time. Is there anything on there for average sale time? Did you show a report based on that?
No, we don't have, you talk about average days on the market.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't. I mean, your turnover rate's going to give you a general idea of the performance of that area regardless. And then when you pull a property profile, you're going to be able to see that type of data. But being able to filter by average sale time, no.
Okay, that's fine. Does it give you the complete out-of-state address?
What's that?
You want to look at? Does it give you the complete out-of-state address?
Yes.
Okay, so that's obvious here. Is there a schedule of costs that we can have before we pull the data? Yes, you see a total and what it costs before you're pulling the data. Tells you how many it found, and it tells you the total price. That was just a screen that you might have seen briefly, but yeah, it does show you that. Let's see here.
It does, and then you can make adjustments if you don't. If like, so let's say it pulls up like 1,000 divorces, and it tells you the total price, and you're like, whoa. You can adjust it and limit records to maybe you only wanted to send out 500 postcards, so I'm going to limit it to 500, and that's in this screen right here.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So I think you covered it. I think we did a great job at showing you all the power of this data toolbox. I think what I'll do also at the end of this, Scott, I'll give you my contact information, and we have a concierge desk that will help you through anything that you want, and I'll give you that information where you can contact us, and we'll help you look at this in more detail. But I think at that point we'll leave the data side. And Matt, thank you. That was awesome. That was great. That was really good.
No problem. Anytime, Andy.
Fantastic. So let me, thanks, Matt. We'll talk to you soon. And then other than that, let me share the screen back to me.
Yep.
Hang on a second. Let me see here. Bear with me. There we go. Hang on, guys. I'm going to pause and jump on. So hold on. Okay, we're back at it, guys. Okay, so thanks for everybody for your time. Look, we already doubled the time we thought we were going to do, but I can get through this really quickly, and then we can always assist you in our free concierge department as well. So when you log in, I'm in a demo site here, by the way, but normally you'll see Scott's logo at the top left there. But what we've done is we have this pop-up window that kind of shows you our new system, kind of gives you a high-level view of what's available inside of our direct mail center. So as you slide across the top here, you'll see lots of additional elements that are available. Like we offer signs and postcards and, signs and business cards. This is the title toolbox. Basically, it's an advertisement section for additional feature sets besides the direct mail component, right? So if you need bandit signs or business cards, those are available as well. I'm going to run through this rather quickly. As you saw with what Matt did, you would have gone into here probably, well, most likely you would have come in here first. You would click on contacts. You would choose a new list from our list finder, which is the title toolbox. here's a overview of what you just saw with Matt. And then if I click on Title Toolbox, it exposes that window you just saw. You don't have to sign out or sign back in. It knows your credentials, but you're on their platform. You're filtering the searches the way you wanted. And then you hit export and it brings it right back into your GoBig library. And you'll see all those by, once again, clicking on contacts. And then it shows you all the contacts that are recently placed into your system or into the GoBig library. And then here's where they all show up. Right? So all your lists end up in here. And even with his lists that are clean, or if you upload your own list because perhaps you have your own favorite list provider, when you upload your list, we run something called a data point validation, which is, this explains it. But what that essentially means is we're comparing your data against the USPS to make sure it's an accurate and physical address. Very important. So when you get data, wherever you get it, you want to make sure that it's clean data. We do have some list providers that send us lists or people using other list providers, and we find a large amount of fails. So you can see here, 9 out of 73, 6 out of 1,300. That means the lists that are coming in here may or may not have come from the Title Toolbox. They came from other places, 31 out of 300. That's not bad. I mean, you can expect that. You can also come into these things and edit the list. If you have like 6 that failed, you can force those through. You can clean them and edit them if you want to. But the point here is that we're cleaning the list before you're mailing it. That's number one. We also are running it through a NCOA, which is a national change of address listing. So therefore, if Bob moved from Main Street to Elm Street, we're going to track him down to where he moved to, and we're going to update the record and then send it to him. So right off the bat, on this homepage, I just showed you contacts. You're now looking at my favorites, so I can always add any product that I like. And you'll see in a second, I can click my favorites and it'll show it on my main page here. You can also see what's trending, so what's happening in your store. So eventually when a bunch of orders start to come through, you'll see average sales, or not average sales, but you'll see most trending within that store. We have a custom desk that'll give you assistance, but let's just dig in real quick. Under print, we have postcards, we have newsletters, we have letters, formal letters, yellow letters, blank letters, realtor letters, distress letters, etc. So right off the bat, formal letters, I just want to show you the idea behind it. Formal letters. Now, it may look like 3 of the same letters. It's not. Once you click order, you can upload your own background. You can change the text. You can change the variables, the font. You can have your own logo or not logo. So this one template lasts 1,000 miles. So maybe Bob is ordering it one way, Sue's going to order the same thing and it looks completely different. Not only can you change the text, upload a new background, it looks completely different. The same with all these. In some cases, like these guys, we have, if I just click on it, it looks like a, obviously a pen as a background. Once you click on it, you can choose from like 15 different backgrounds that are from our pre-stock or upload your own. And so we've pre-written everything, but we've also given you the power to customize it as well. So some of them get really crazy with all the doodles. You can add or remove the doodles or turn them off. But what we figured is this: we're really good at printing. We have 8 graphic designers. We have a marketing department. We have the data. We have pros writing our content. We've done all the heavy lifting for you, but we also give you the option to edit it and change it as you wish if you want to. All of these things come in letters, in envelopes. We make them authentic and real, and they're handwritten, as you can see here. We have a video tutorial. So everything's kind of self-explanatory. Running back here into the mini postcards, there are a lot of mini postcards. They are the cheapest way to reach, any potential buyer or motivated seller. And what we've done is we've learned over the last 18 years of doing this, things work sometimes and then not the next. So we always say, mix it up, be consistent. You may get them, maybe not get them the first time, so you get them the second time. It really takes 7 touches. I'm not encouraging you to send it 7 times, but I'm just telling you the magic number in marketing is 7 touches. My suggestion is do at least 2 and 3 every other week to your potentials. And then what we say is mix it up. So you see on this particular postcard, it's really authentic, it's handwritten, it's simple, there's the front, there's the back. But we also say, okay, maybe you need to come in here and use a bit of a hybrid postcard that's got graphic and handwritten. So it's just enough of a flavor to entice that person receiving it, you know, because we don't know people. We know that they probably have, because of the data, they have an interest in what you're saying, because they might have a distressed property of some kind, because that's what you're reaching them for. But they may be the type of person that really is going to be moved by something that says, you know, urgent notice or termination notice, and it's scary for them, and they're going to act on it. But then you have other people that might be terrified by this, frightened by this, and annoyed by this, and it's going to turn them off, or they're going to see through it. So my point is, we usually mix it up. That's why we created something called an elixir, which is a series of 3 different things. So you're getting them, you know, maybe someone's more authentic, someone likes the more of a graphic, or someone's more responsive to something that looks like this. So that's kind of the quick overview. How it works, you click on order. It brings up our customization page, and we give you lots of options to edit things. It's showing you what product you ordered, and it shows you a key box of the variables that you can change. So our pre-written postcard says, hi, my name is, I would like to buy your house at site address. Maybe you don't want to be so specific. You want to say something like, I want to buy your house at not the site address, which is going to pull from your data file. Maybe you want to do something like, I want to pull from the site city, because you're just buying houses in that city. So what you can do is copy that and come down here and rewrite it and say, my name is, I would like to buy your house in, and you can put the site city. So that's how easy it is to change. Not on this particular one, we're not allowing you to change the font, but on others, you can change the font, you can make it bold, so you can change the style. It just depends on the postcard you're choosing. Colored backgrounds, blue, yellow, white, etc. If you want a Better Business logo, turn it on or turn it off. You want doodles, yes or no? This is how we do it. The recipient address, do you want it to come out in blue or black? What font color do you want? And I'm just going to call this Scott Mini. That's it. So that's how you customize it. It's already pre-written. This is only if you wanted to change it and then slightly customize it by maybe choosing a different color. If you don't have a list yet and you just want to see what this looks like, you can choose Quick Proof and then put in a fake name, a fake site address, just to see what the mail merge is going to look like. This is totally fake, just so you can see it, because we're using a live, real mail merge to show you exactly what the card's going to look like. Or you can select from your list, and you can choose as many lists as you want in your library. I'm going to choose just a simple one here. I hit continue. And this is the only complicated part, I think, in the system, but we're asking you, we've already mapped out the mailing address, by the way. When you pull it over from the title toolbox, we've already mapped out the mailing information. We've already captured the property information and the person's information. But now what we're doing is we're saying, just tell us, you know, the person's first name, because we use the same system whether you imported data from the title toolbox or if you uploaded your own. We're asking you, what's the person's first name, so we can say dear, and then on your Excel file, you might be calling it PR first name or whatever it is. So we need to know, what are you calling first name? Site address, you know, on my list, it happened to be called property address, and then site city, property city. So here we have, at the bottom is where we're mailing it, which is pre-mapped out. This information is going on the postcard in our mail merge. So we're proving to you that this is the information is correct. We want to buy this property, we want to mail it to this property, and it just gives you all the records to compare in case you're running along side by side with your data file. Other than that, you hit continue, and you have an option to go back and add a list or continue to proof. That's about as complicated as it gets, you guys. It's not that complicated, but it does take just what I just explained there to understand the theory behind what we're doing. We are providing a system that's on demand. You can edit it, you can customize it, therefore you're proofing it. You're checking out, right? We have a concierge department that does it for free, but if you want to jump in like most people do, you just want to play around with it. So in this case, we've created a kind of a low-res proof showing you that Christopher Zito lives at this 1074 Valley Spring Lane, and you want to buy 417 East Padre Street. So it says, hi, Christopher, my name is Andy, or Andrew. I want to buy your house at, but you're mailing it here. So we have a mailing address, site address. I go to the next record, and now you're mailing this to Bonnie, and you want to buy 2526, but you're mailing it here. So this mail merge is really important to show you that the validation is correct. And at that point, if you can't really see it, you can click on a large PDF. It'll generate a large PDF for you. Let that pop up. And you can take this link, not send a large PDF file to your partner or friend, but a link. So just copy that link and send it to whomever. Or you can click on the PDF, and it'll show you what the large PDF looks like. And that's what it looks like. So whether you're choosing a letter or a postcard or anything, it's the exact same process. Now what we've done is we've chosen something, we've edited it. Let's approve and check out. We ask you to, once again, we're saying, look, this is your deal. You've written it. You've approved it. Now check out. And we go through another step here that gives you more options. For example, you're not going to be here next week because you're going on vacation, but during vacation, you want it to be in production because production takes 2 days. So you're telling the system, schedule this to go into production at a future date. And you're just going to pay for it and check out, and it's going to charge you at that time in the future that you've scheduled it. So you're not actually paying for it now. It'll go into production at a future date based on your calendar, and that's how you pay for it. You may also say, I don't want to mail all 1,000 right now. I don't want to mail at once. I want to mail them in 3 separate mailings or 9 separate mailings or 10 separate mailings. Now, you can't do less than 200 in this split, but say you come up with 1,000, you want to split it 4 times or 5 times, right? That's how you can click this one. And then once you do that, you can choose what interval. I want to mail these out every other week, every 3rd week. So what you're doing is you're picking your list of 5,000. You've chosen your postcard. You've chosen, I want to mail it in a split of 5, and I want it to go out every other week for the next month. That's how you can set it up. And the cool thing about it is it'll trigger the credit card payment only at the time it goes into production, so you're not paying for it all at once. Down here, we also have a button here that says, I want to force my mail to go out on Fridays. That means it'll most likely arrive on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is just old theory and direct mail that most people receive and act on their mail at the beginning of the week. Don't let this send you into a frenzy, because I don't know if I could really give you a validation on that. What we do is we get a lot of responses from coaching companies that tell us what's working for them, and we implement it into the system. So what you do is you get the benefit of all in what we add and build into our technology. You can choose whether you want a real stamp or an indicia. An indicia, just to show you what it looks like whoops, this. So an indicia is this right here. It's a graphic representing a stamp. It works great with postcards that are graphic, that obviously you're sending a lot. It doesn't look like it's authentic and you're sending one at a time. So if you're choosing a postcard like we just chose, you may consider using a stamp. That makes it more authentic. It makes it look like you literally wrote one postcard, dropped it in the mail, and sent one, right? So envelopes with letters don't have an option for this because it wouldn't look authentic. So they only come with a stamp, and that's first class or pre-sorted. Down below, NCOA is what I spoke about before, where we're doing a national change of address listing. Down here, mail tracking. I wouldn't do this just yet. We have AccuTrace coming soon. All this will do is give you a receipt from the post office saying that the post office has been paid and they are delivering it, and it'll show you how many were actually tagged as they went through the process. Usually that's about 85 or 90%. So you upload 1,000, there's going to be a certain percent that just aren't tagged. It doesn't mean anything more than they're going in the mail. It just means that some are just not marked. Doesn't really mean anything, but it's just proof that we've done our job. We've delivered to the post office. That's what this was intended for. Moving along, we're almost done, by the way. It's going to show you the total amount you've ordered, how much it costs, and then also we send 2 seeds automatically, one to you and one to us. And we do this also to safeguard against some people saying, oh, I didn't get any calls, you didn't mail it. Well, we have a physical proof that you did mail it, and then likewise, you should get a seed as well. Coming down here, continue, you get an email. You can send an email to your partner or friend. You can put in questions and comments here. And just note, when you make your order, you're going to get a receipt. When you set something up for the future, you're going to get another email saying, hey, your mail's about to go into production. Be prepared. And then you get another email that says, hey, your mail is now in the mail stream. Be prepared for phone calls. That's what we have like 7 emails that go out. We are ensuring that you are reviewing your work and you know that blah, blah, blah. This is some of the disclaimer stuff. Just saying. At the end here, I have a checkout, and I pay for the orders that I've ordered right here with a credit card. You can save that credit card on file. If you're not happy with that or you're nervous about that, you can always click this button, submit the order, and then call us, and then we'll do the processing over the phone if you don't want to do your transactions over the phone. So I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we'll open it up to questions. The shopping cart. Inside the shopping cart is going to show you things you've started but you haven't finished. They're going to be called pending orders. Let me get that open. I have a lot of them. And these are things I've started, like the Scott Mini. I started it, but I haven't finished it, so it's still considered a shopping cart pending order. All these things are just things I've started but haven't finished. And then you have order history. Order history is, well, I only have this one back at this point. So that'll show you things that you have ordered in the past. I can click info. I can reorder this exact same thing. So say you customized and edited one particular postcard. You don't want to go back to the default. You don't want to rewrite it. You want to reorder it as you wrote it because it worked well. You just reorder it, and then you assign the new list to it because it doesn't remember the list you sent it to because that might have changed. You can download a PDF, and then other options in here. You can just edit this one from scratch and start over. With that said, there is a pricing section for postcards, letters, jumbo letters, etc. There's a pricing calculator, so you can do your guesstimates on quantity, and that just slides with an indicia or with a stamp, so you know exactly what you're paying for. There's no upsells in this whole system, except for if you choose maybe a pink envelope versus a white one. That's an upsell of a couple, I think it's 2 pennies. Might be 2 pennies. What's really cool is we have envelopes coming out in the next week that is has graphics on the front of the envelope. There's variables on the front of the envelopes as well. So as I click on, for example, let's go over here. Where are these guys? Bear with me. These stationary cards or envelopes are really cool. You can choose your own return label. You can have it handwritten or choose your own. You can choose your color. It's a variable on the front. And then they all come with a letter that looks like this. They're all pre-made. There's 30 of them. And what we're trying to do is just make it look like you're a mom and pop shop. You've grabbed a bunch of stationery from Office Max or Staples. You wrote a note on it. You stuck it into an envelope. You put a stamp on it, and you mailed it one at a time. That's what these, are meant to look like, and that's the envelopes that come with it. The other envelopes we've just developed right in this zone here, you can choose. There's great cartoons and graphics of animals, and just that non-political, non-salesy, non-promotional type of thing that looks like, once again, you just bought a bunch of stationery from anywhere, Vista Print, Staples, Office Max, and then you can have your own envelopes. So obviously you're differentiating yourself from anybody else on the planet that's doing any direct mail in this space. So with that said, I think that I've kind of covered everything for you. Scott, do you want me to open this up to some questions? Do you want to ask me any questions? You're welcome to in the chat, enter your questions there and I can answer them. Or Scott, you're welcome to get me now.
Quite sure they have some questions. If anybody has some questions, you can go ahead and just put it in the chat so he can start answering them for you.
And while you're doing that, because I don't see anything just yet, let's see here. Farming gives you more filters. What's the site address? Let's see. Does MIA have a promo code? Maybe you want to reiterate what that means. I'm not quite sure. Site address. Getting here. Can you see that screen there?
Yeah, the link I mentioned.
You are looking.
Just goes to marketing.com, or they can just copy that down.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. So you got uglyscott.investorfarm, and then, like you said, it'll go right there. This is where you can sign up. Let me log out of that. Hang on a second. Log out. There we go. There we go. So here is here's where you can start, and we talk about the list finder, etc. websites, drip campaigns, home val. One thing I didn't show you, which I might while you're kind of going on here, tutorial. In our help section, we have lots, right? So ordering steps, tips, and tricks. You might want to come down here to, I believe, let me get to it. Bear with me for a second. So managing your Excel file, photo galleries, ordering direct mail, uploading photos, simply ordering, how to order. So there's lots of videos in here. And also, we have a free concierge department. So a couple things you might want to make a note of: help at GoBig Printing. That's our free concierge. And you can just send us, if you don't have a list, or you have your own list and you just want some assistance, you can say, hey guys, here's my list. You would have logged in already and maybe said, I like the formal letter 13. Will you send me a proof? And we'll do that for you same day. So you're welcome to use our free concierge service. And what we'll do is we'll upload your list, make sure it's title case, so it's not all caps in case it came in that way. Make sure it looks legitimate and authentic. And then we'll add that to your letter or postcard or whatever, and we'll send you a link like I showed you, and then it'll give you access to a one-button checkout. Takes you right to the checkout page. So all you have to do is look at it via PDF, and then click one button, and then it'll take you right to the checkout page. That's our tutorial, and that's also the free concierge that I was referencing at that point. And then also we do have custom uploads. So lots of people will come in and say, well, I've got my own favorite thing. I would like that. So we call them the smart template. A smart template is where we take your art, your design, your scribble, scratch, or whatever it is, and we convert that into what we call a smart template. Smart templates, once again, are when you order something and you want to be able to change it on demand, like the photos, the background, we take your artwork and convert it into an editable, customizable template that you can edit. And I think that's what most people ask for, which is our smart template. And you can find that from the home page in one of the features across the top here. Not sure which one it is, but you can click through these things. And we have websites over here. Oops, there it is, smart template. A lot of people like these things. It's very popular. So popular, we've just surpassed 50,000. That's how many templates we build online. So what we do is you might say, I like this template. I saw it someplace else, or I have my own, or it's the best thing since sliced bread. We will build it, put it online into your account only so nobody else can see it. I think that's been very successful. I will show you one more thing. Under print, I'll do it again. There's something called the Elixir. And what the Elixir is, we've created, it's not 7 actually, it's 3. We've reduced it to 3 because people were stopping at 5 and 6 because they couldn't manage the phone calls. So we reduced it to 3. So what you can do is click this at a later time once you signed in, and it opens up and describes what it's all about. You can pick what type of like probate or absentee owner type of leads you want. You can pick a pre-created campaign series that goes out at whatever interval you want, and then we'll set it up for you. But that's a great way to just, if you don't know what you want to do, it's just a great way to send out a direct mail campaign without having to think about it. And that's about it. So I cover everything, Scott. I don't see any more questions on here, but I think we did cover a lot in the last hour there.
Yep, I think you got everything unless anyone has any questions. If you have questions, now would be the time. All right.
Yep, and your questions are only available on that chat. If you can see that chat button, we don't have an audio going, so use that chat. And then I'm going to put here, this is me personally. You can contact me directly, and then we can have whatever conversations you need. We can help you out, and then we can introduce you to the concierge department where they will do whatever it is that you need to have done. Other than that, oh, the Elixir. Where does the list come from? The Elixir is whether you have a list. That's what the question was. The Elixir. Where does the list come from? So what we've done is we've said on the Elixir, we've pre-built the campaigns, but you can either tell us what list that's already on your GoBig library. You can at that time upload your own list, or you can choose one of those pre-created quick fix lists that Matt showed you earlier, and that's all built into the Elixir. So you get that option when you're ordering your Elixir on what list you want to use, what interval you want to use. You're just picking the campaign that you want to send out. And that's it. And let's see. Okay, so I don't have any more questions. I think we're good with that. And okay, so there you go, Scott. You're I think we covered top to bottom, and then I encourage everybody to create an account under the link you gave them. Contact us. We're here to assist. We do have a 5-star across the board review, and our concierge people take it to heart when you're ordering for 2 reasons. One is we really have, well, we've been doing this for a long time, but we've discovered the good feeling we get when other people have entered into an opportunity to enrich and change their lives. So if we're here to assist that in any way, it just fuels the fire. And we've been doing it since 1999, that is. And we encourage you to listen to your coach. They'll give you the best insight and tricks. You've also got insight and tricks that Matt has shown you with the data. And then we're here to help you with the marketing and then get that through. So contact us anytime. We're here to help. And then let's see, I can even do one more thing. Let's do this. I'm giving you the phone number. Hang on a second. Oh, it's right at the top here. There you go. This number, I encourage you to call it, ask questions. The concierge is happy to help, and or use the help at gobigprinting.com, which is right here. And that's by clicking on need help right there. There's our building. That's it. So have an awesome day, everybody. Scott, thank you so much for the time. And happy hunting, everybody. Reach out if we can help you in any way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And everybody go to masterinvestormarketing.com, set up your account, and then play around with the searching, set up your own list. You don't have to actually buy them. Just play with it so that you can start getting comfortable with the way it works. And I mean, you'll see if it's 20,000 or 200 leads so that you start getting a feel for how many you actually want to send. And then we'll go from there. Thank you very much, Andy. I greatly appreciate it. This was fantastic.
My pleasure. Bye, guys.